Well, 2 weeks ago, US President Donald Trump warned he'll know how he would proceed unless Russia comes to the negotiating table. Now, 14 days later, little progress has been made on achieving a peace deal as the conflict with Ukraine escalates. Joining me now is former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney. Mick, good morning to you as always. Lovely to see you. First, I just want to get your thoughts about the meeting in China. Now, it all looked super friendly, jokes being made. If optics are anything to go by, they were presenting a pretty united front. What's your take on it?
We're watching it very closely here in Washington, D.C. this week. There's no question about that. India is an absolutely critical piece of the puzzle as America tries to figure out what to do about China going into the second quarter of this century. And to see Modi as friendly with Xi as he has been the last couple of days is certainly concerning to us. There's a lot of folks who understand why that is. Somehow a relationship that was very strong between Donald Trump and Narendra Modi during the first term has cooled very, very quickly. We have seen the same videos you've seen, the two leaders, Xi and Modi, walking hand in hand. And I wouldn't put too much weight in that. I've spent some time with Narendra Modi. He's a very physical man. He likes to hold hands and hug and those types of things. So I wouldn't read too much into the optics, but certainly the fact that he's there in China this week, along with Putin, is something that bears watching here in the United States and in Australia.
I mean, India's Prime Minister is, of course, a prominent American partner, but has before faced criticism for this ongoing trade with Moscow over Russian oil imports. How do you think President Trump is likely to respond after this meet?
It's a really good question. Look, I think Trump really wants to be good friends with India. There's no question about that. However, he is trying to put pressure on Russia regarding Ukraine, and India is helping sort of broker Russian oil. Now, India would tell you that most of the oil they buy from Russia is then sold to the EU and lowers energy prices there, which the Americans should generally see as a good thing. But still, buying a bunch of Russian oil when the United States is trying to put pressure on them can be and is a difficult part of the relationship. There's also the subtext here, Holly, about a discussion about whether or not Trump should be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize regarding the cessation of hostilities between India and Pakistan. I don't know how much weight I put on it, but certainly it is making it's having an impact in the discussions.
And I mean, the big thing that I took out of that meet that we just saw on the screen was that China looked like it was, confident in wielding some sort of power in this meeting. I mean, what does this mean, though, as I spoke about before, the Ukraine-Russia war? Where does this leave peace negotiations, if any?
Look, I think you and I talked last week, maybe the week before, about what would happen. Remember, Donald Trump met with Putin on a Friday in Alaska and then met with EU leaders in Washington, D.C. on a Monday, just a couple of days later. Just an unprecedented sort of speed of setting up these meetings. And then nothing has happened in the intervening 2 weeks. That's not a good sign. If there was going to be progress made, I think you would have seen things continue to go quickly. I think the message that Russia is sending is that they are completely happy with the status quo. That they are very happy with sort of going along, talking every now and then, maybe beginning a peace discussion, but not really doing anything about it, and they continuing the aggression in Ukraine. Until the United States and Europe can change that, I don't see anything changing. But it's disappointing to those of us who wanted to see an end to this hostilities in Ukraine, that there hasn't been a follow-up on the meetings the last couple of weeks. And until the meetings start to take place again, I don't think you'll see any change at all in what's happening.
Mick, also as well, I wanted to ask you after this meet, do you think this is likely to impact Australia, if it does at all, and Quad as well?
Yeah, and that's the big picture here, right, is that we had sort of been counting on India as part of our counterbalancing. It's not an adversarial relationship with China. It's sort of trying to figure out a way to balance China in the Indo-Pacific. And clearly Australia is a big piece of that, as is South Korea, as is Japan, and as is India. You have 1.5 billion people. That sort of brings you to the table. And to see India, who we have been counting on to be a featured part of that Quad, cuddling up to China is worrisome to us. And it makes us wonder here, have we pushed India into the arms of the Chinese? And if so, what can we do to stop that from going any further?
OK, Mick Mulvaney, we'll leave it there for today. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Holly.